just want to, who is our court reporter today?
Good afternoon, Chair. This is John Kelly.
Good afternoon, Mr. Kelly. Good to see you. Okay, all righty. I think we have a quorum present. I believe, based on what I am able to see, we still have one or two board members who are transitioning over from the executive committee meeting rather. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. We will call this a meeting to order, Illinois Board of Review for today, Tuesday, January 30th, 2024. Just so everyone understands, everyone except for the board members themselves and the other panelists have been muted, principally so that we can even reduce the potential interruptions from background noise and other things. Also, we will be asking the law department to give us a list of properties that have been resolved. So please pay close attention as those addresses and the appellants are being read. If your matter is listed and the status is noted as moot or moot complied, that means that it's been resolved and you will not be heard today. So if you need information as to what moot or moot complied means, please call the office and they will explain the differences and help you understand what happened to your appeal. But please don't break into the hearing because we have a very long list today and we're trying to get through that. And so everyone has an opportunity to be heard and we can fairly evaluate each appeal. Also, just to advise everyone who's appealing, who's an appellant, this is a formal hearing. We have a court reporter who's taking everyone's testimony. Please do not speak out of turn, meaning the court reporter can only understand one voice at a time. And so we ask you not to do that. Everybody will be given an opportunity to speak and represent their issue. Also, I'd ask that you not be in bed, not be reclining. This is a formal hearing as if you were in the courthouse. So take off your hat, dress appropriately, no eating and etc. smoking while you're in the court. Understood? This is a formal hearing that can have serious consequences for your property. So we want to make sure you treat it fairly, but also want you to respect the rules of the hearing process. Okay, we will now introduce ourselves, the board and the other panelists, after which we will hear from the law department. Again, I'm Kenneth Woodson, board chair.
Ralph Pincus, board member.
Roger S. Tennessee, your board member.
Ken Washington, board member.
Cortez Patton, board member.
Brandon Sherrod, board counsel.
Richard Wade, board administrator.
Mr. Wade, would you check to see if we lost Mr. Pettit?
He appears to be in the room. His screen is just muted and okay. The screen is turned off.
Okay, let's proceed. Law department.
Good afternoon, board members. Jim Kelly on behalf of the city. I'll be reading the moot cases today.
Okay.
Start number 1, HA 2022-1678, 513 Wilder Street, Joel Mandelman. That's an agreement for a city of firm with a 6-month stay of enforcement.
Okay, there's an agreement between the parties, city of firm, a 6-month stay of enforcement?
Yes.
Okay.
Number 4, HA 2023-415, 5421 Beaumont Street, Napoleon Vaughn. That's an agreement for a city of firm with a $150 fine.
Okay, there's an agreement between the parties for a city of firm with a $150 fine. So, okay.
Number 6, HA 2023-435, 151 North 57th Street, Rieko OI, moot.
Moot, okay, thank you.
Number 7, HA 2023-437, 2349 East Allegheny Avenue, Haki Kolaku. There's an agreement for a city of firm with a 90-day stay of enforcement.
Okay, agreement between the party, city of firm, and a 90-day stay of enforcement.
Number 8, HA 2023-441, 2433 Golf Road, Safaldi Property Investments LLC, moot complied.
Moot complied. Okay.
Number
Thank you.
9, HA 2023-443, 537 South Street. There's a continuance request made by the appellant here that the city is not opposing.
Okay, so is this the first request, do you know, Mr. Kelly?
I'm not sure. I can have one of,
Mr. Wade may have that information.
Yep.
Is this the first request, Mr. Wade?
Yes.
Okay,
I'm sorry, this is Dejanay Davis on behalf of the city. That is my case. I was trying to say that this is the first request. My apologies.
okay. All right, thank you. We'll note it as continued.
the next one, number 10, HA 2023.
Excuse me, I'm sorry, Mr. Chair, which number was that was mute?
The move was number 8,
And number 9 was the,
continue.
thank you. I'm
Uh,
sorry for that.
Next one is number 10, HA 2023-447, 2524 North Colorado Street, Harold Cost II. Number 10 has been withdrawn by the department. Number 11, I believe, is still going forward.
Okay. Okay, number 11 will proceed. Okay,
Correct, with the same property.
okay,
The next one is number 13, HA 2023-484, 10829 Academy Road, Kazimbekov Tilek. That's a joint continuance request pending a ZBA appeal.
okay. So noted executive session, we noted there was a request on 90-day continuance. We will continue this matter.
Number 14, HA 2023-485, 6735 North 17th Street, Thomas More, moot complied.
Moot complied. Thank you.
Number 15, HA 2023-501, 5139 Wayne Avenue, Abraham Silber, moot.
Moot. Thank you.
Number 16, HA 2023-510, 2410 Cypress Street, 2407 Delancey LLC, moot complied.
Moot complied. Thank you.
Number 17, HA 2023-513, 4158 Lancaster Avenue, Clarence Morris doing business as CDM Tires, Inc., moot complied.
Moot complied. Thank you.
Number 19, HA 2023-524, 1505 South 50th Street, Jamie Nissenbaum Kushner, moot.
Moot. Okay.
Number 20, HA 2023-526, 5911 Windsor Street, Elk Enterprises LLC. That's a continuance request by the appellant that the city is not opposing.
Okay. Noted as continued.
Number 21, HA 2023-537, 723 South 17th Street, Virgin Ortiz. That's a continuance request by the appellant to obtain counsel that the city's not opposing.
Okay. Noted as continued.
Number 22, HA 2023-543, 3605 Belgrade Street, Kim Choing, moot complied.
Moot complied. Okay. Thank you.
Number 23, HA 2023-555, 527 South 9th Street, Sophie Hunter. That's a continuance request by the appellant that the city is not opposing.
Okay. We'll note as continued.
Number 24, HA 2023-564, 3345 West Hunting Park Avenue, Christine Viteo doing business as Prodigy Learning Center. There's an agreement for a city affirm with a 60-day stay of enforcement.
Okay. Agreement between the parties, city affirm, 60-day stay of enforcement.
Number 25, HA 2023-587, 8010-12 Rugby Street, Michael and Anival Rappaport, moot complied.
Moot complied. Thank you.
Number 26, HA 2023-598, 215 North Wanamaker Street, Samira Bridgeford, City of Firm, an agreement for a City of Firm with 90-day stay of enforcement.
Okay, agreeing between the parties for city affirm in a 90-day stay.
Numbers 27 and 28 are together. HA 2023-604 and 2023-605, 331 Fountain Street, Careful Investments LLC. There's a continuance request on both of those that is unopposed by the city.
Okay, we'll note both as continued.
Next one is number 29, HA 2023-610, 2939 Cambridge Street, Charles Mellon, moot complied.
Move complied, thank you.
Number 30, HA 2023-615, 3701 Jasper Street, moot complied.
Move complied, thank you.
Number 31, HA 2023-618, 5727 Haverford Avenue, Reginald Corbin. There's an agreement for a city affirm with a 90-day stay of enforcement.
Okay, just one moment here. City affirm with 90-day stay of enforcement?
Yes, I believe the agreement was just reached in the last few minutes, so that'll be sent over to the board as soon as possible.
Okay, so noted for the record.
Number 33, HA 2023-626, 8121 Langdon Street, Besnik Pajulari, moot complied.
Move complied, thank you.
Number 34, HA 2023-678, 2132 East Clearfield Street, Donald Haney. That's been withdrawn by the appellant.
Withdrawn, noted.
Number 35, HA 2023-681, 1614 East Upsall Street, Dr. James Dvorak, moot complied.
Move complied, thank you.
Number 36, 2513 South American Street, S&P Property Venture, moot complied.
Move complied, thank you.
And number 37, HA 2023-818, 4133 Hellerman Street, Vicky Huang. That's also been withdrawn.
Withdrawn, okay, so noted.
And that's all that I have. I'm not sure if my colleagues might have others, but that's all that I have.
Okay, as we have done before, if you have additional information to add to this list, please indicate by raising your hand and I will call you in order. At the moment, I don't see any hands raised. But there are a few matters that the board has additional questions about. So I will go through the board's list. Let's start with number 3. That's 000165 at 1433 West Passyunk Avenue, Noor Ajani. Who's representing the city in this?
Good afternoon, Amy Skiles on behalf of the city for this matter.
Okay, good afternoon. Is the appellant present, Noor Ajani? The issue, Ms. Skiles, is the matter of timeliness. It appears that the SVN was written on September 22 and the appeal was not until January 23.
I did see that, and I would have raised that issue as well, that it should be dismissed for timeliness.
Okay, let's do this. The Noor Ajani has not responded to his name being called. I don't see a response. So let's do this. After I go through the board's matters, we'll come back to it and we may be able to dismiss it if he is not present. We'll hear from you as terms of how you would want us to proceed, but I'll come back to it.
Okay.
All righty.
Mr.
Next
Chair,
matter.
Mr.
Yes.
Chair,
Yes, sir.
I just have to notice that our colleague, Ms. Penn, has joined us.
Oh, good. Good. For the record, Ms. Penn, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, members of the board, ladies and gentlemen. My apologies for late arrival.
Okay. Let's move down to number 38. That's 001091 4268 Whitaker Avenue, Bowman Paradise. Who's representing the city?
Good afternoon, board members. This is Michael Rouleau, RULLO, on behalf of the city.
Good afternoon, Mr. Rouleau. Is anyone present representing 4268 Whitaker Avenue?
I do see an appellant. It looks like the person who signed the appeal form, Bowman Perez. Looks like they're muted.
Okay, and Mr. Wade, if you could unmute that individual, please. The issue here is whether or not this is a corporate-owned entity and if the legal counsel has been engaged. Mr. Rulo, you're muted again. Do you know if there's a legal counsel involved in this?
I am unaware of any legal counsel entering on this case. I also, and I believe I noted this in my email to the board, it's still unclear what Mr. Paredes's relationship is to either of the entities that I've been able to identify as being associated with the property.
Okay, Mr. Paredes, is he still muted? Because I don't.
No, he's not muted.
Sir, would you kindly make yourself known to the board? Oh, there you are. Sir, would you raise your right hand so that you may be sworn? Mr. Paredes?
Repeat again, sir.
Well, let's begin with this. There's the issue with understanding English.
No, I don't understand English.
But who are you? I want to speak to Bowman Paredes. Who is that?
Yes. This friend.
Okay, are you Bowman Paredes?
Yeah.
Sir, do you understand what I've just said to you? Are you able to hear us clearly?
Huh? Sorry?
Mr. Wade, we clearly have a communications issue here. And who's representing the city again on this?
Michael Rulo.
Mr. Rulo, I'm going to impose upon you, if you wouldn't mind going to a breakout room with Mr. Paredes just to confirm identity and see where we need to proceed on this today.
I will attempt to do so, yes.
Yes. Mr. Wade, if you could put the two of them in a breakout room together, see if there's a way to work through this.
Yes.
Ms. Paredes, we're going to ask you to go to a breakout room to talk with the city lawyer, Mr. Michael Rulo. Okay. While they're doing that, the final matter that the board has is number 41, 005095 1715-23 North 56th Street. Who's representing the city?
Good afternoon, Amy Skiles on behalf of the city of Philadelphia.
Ms. Skiles, we received a request. I don't know if you're aware of this, a request to continue this matter. Are you aware of that?
Yes, yes. I did send an email to the board. However, it was just this afternoon. As this was an emergency appeal by the appellant, and this does involve an intent to cease that the city has issued, the city would be opposed to the continuance request today.
Okay.
However, if the board were inclined to grant a continuance, we would just ask that it be listed as soon as possible.
Well, let's hear from the appellant, Malachi Orji.
Yes, sir.
Sir, we need to see your image. Turn on your camera.
Yes.
We'd like you to turn your camera on so we can see your image, so you can see your face.
Okay. Do you see me?
No, not yet.
1 second.
Recording in progress.
Mr. Wade, is there anything we can do to help Mr. Orji?
Yes, you can see me now.
No, we can't see you.
Is he on one device?
Are you on more than one device, sir? Do you have using more than one device?
Yes.
I think they are.
Okay, which device has your image? Because we don't see you here.
He was visible a moment ago. It was saying
Yes.
connected. Yeah, there he is.
Yes, you can see me now, sir.
Yes, I can see you now. Okay, would you raise your right hand so that you may be sworn? You will swear or affirm the testimony that you would give today be the truth so help you God.
Yes,
Okay, so you can place your hand down. So you've asked for an emergency hearing, which we've granted, and this is the time and place to do that. But now you've asked for a continuance. Why is that?
because I just came back and I got this letter. And again, I went to the I went to the City Hall licensing and inspection for the zoning permit because I learned that the one I have before I bought the property has expired.
Okay,
And
but that's not answering my question. You asked for an emergency hearing. That means that we set aside other cases to schedule your case. But now you're asking us to continue it. Why should we do that? Why can't we just proceed today?
because I traveled out of the country and I'm not ready with anything.
But you knew that when you asked for the emergency hearing, though. I mean, when did you return to the States?
I came back on Saturday.
And when did you request the emergency hearing?
It was yesterday.
No. You requested continuance yesterday. You
Yes,
requested an
exactly.
emergency.
I called earlier before then, and
Yeah, but when did you request? I mean, you have to understand something. An emergency hearing is what it says, that in fact we go take you out of order and we agree to hear your case because it's critical to the health and safety of the citizens of Philadelphia to do this. And this is a potential cease operations. So this is has all the red flags. We need to hear what's going on. And you're saying that you aren't prepared to proceed at the moment, right now.
Yes, because I was asked to provide a zoning permit and certificate of occupancy, and I applied, but it has not yet been given to me to present to you.
But you've been operating. Okay, we aren't going to hear this. You've been operating in that space without the appropriate documentation. That's what it appears according to the violation, correct?
Yes, I was operating based on the previous owner's zoning permit. But when I went to pay for the
okay, but no. You have to understand, I'm not going to get too far in the weeds on this. I'm just trying to determine whether we're going to proceed tonight, or not. Are you the sole owner of this property? Is anyone else's name on the deed?
Yes, sir.
Is it in your name personally or a corporate name?
It's in my name.
Okay. Why can't you proceed right now? The city's ready to go.
Yes, because I have not yet received the zoning permit from Elu and I, because I applied for it and I have not yet received it. That's why I said.
Okay. So you don't have a scheduled date yet?
No, not yet, in fact, to be frank.
Okay. What we're going to do, given Ms. Gauss, do you have any opinion about this? You're muted. You're muted.
So nothing additional other than my original arguments that the appellant did request this emergency hearing. So we would just be opposed to continuing it today.
Okay. We're going to hear this today. Sir, your request for continuance is denied. We're going to hear the case today. It'll be called in order. Thank you. Already. Okay, let's go back up to the list. We will, Mr. Wade, Mr.
Chair, Mr. Rulo has his hand up.
Yes, let's hear from Mr. Rulo.
Yes, this is again regarding number 38 on the list. I had a chance to meet with Mr. Paredes in the breakout room, and he's indicated to me that he speaks Spanish and does not speak English. So it looks like we will have to continue this to request a translator. I would also note that at this point, from what I have indicated, I cannot identify his relationship to the property, and it does appear that there are corporate owners here. We will attempt to communicate with Mr. Paredes in advance of that to alert them to the requirement that there be legal counsel.
Okay. Is there any issue regarding the potential cease operation here?
No, as I indicated in an email to the board, I believe it was last spring, actually. The notice, the notice of violation that is the subject of this appeal actually no longer has a current intent to cease operations order subject to it. So that is not standing. And I guess to clarify that, there was a fire code violation that had the intent to cease associated with it, but that was complied prior to the filing of the emergency appeal.
Okay. And so is it possible in your deliberations outside the hearing that you will have someone to translate for you so that this issue of ownership and corporate interests are, because we don't want to come back and then they can't proceed because they need a lawyer.
I will endeavor to do so. That's kind of, I will do my best to accomplish that. And I will alert the board ahead of time if we're successful or not with that.
Okay. Because yes, you understand the issue. It's just sort of,
I do. There's the risk that this comes back, and then it would be at that time that we have to communicate yet a further item there. I will do my best to try and rectify that ahead of time.
Okay. And Mr. Wade, we don't have a Spanish interpreter currently on with us, do we?
No, we don't.
Okay. All right. So that matter will be continued.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. Rulo. Okay.
I'm not sure how we are going to communicate that to Mr. Paredes that this is being continued. I don't have a solution there.
Can you speak with his associate in the breakout room? Who was
They
helping?
indicated that they do not speak English either.
Okay.
Well, okay. I don't have a good answer for that.
Does one of your colleagues speak Spanish, perhaps, Mr. Rulo?
I will see if I can. I will see if I can find someone who could translate. If perhaps if we could go into a breakout room again with Mr. Paredes, I will attempt to get someone who could assist with that.
Okay, thank you. That would be very helpful if you can. Thank you. Okay, Mr. Wade, once you put them in the breakout room, let's go back up on the list. And the first case.
Well, just we do have a Mandarin interpreter. I don't know if you want to handle it. I believe
Yes.
Ms. Scott, the first two cases on the list are Ms. Skiles, and she does have the case with the Mandarin interpreter that she wanted to go into a breakout room.
Okay.
Case 3 wasn't in the waiting room, and service was made if you want to call that.
Okay, let's do that then.
So case 3, hearing appeal ending 0165 1433 West Passyunk. Nodor Adjani. Service was made.
Thank you. There was no response. Who's representing the city in this matter?
Good afternoon, Amy Skiles on behalf of the city.
Ms. Skiles, there was no response when called. What is your preference?
We would ask for a city affirm for non-appearance today.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Pincus, what time do you have?
1:26 p.m.
1:26 p.m. Already. We will pull the board regarding HA 2023-000165-1433 West Passyunk Avenue, Noor Ajani, city affirmed non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
City affirmed for non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
Okay, thank you. Already. What's next, Mr. Wade?
Amy, do you want me to put you in the breakout room now, or would you like to handle matter 2?
Whatever the board would prefer. I believe I can reach an agreement on the, it would be number 39, if I could have an opportunity to speak to the appellant with the Mandarin interpreter.
Okay, so let's do this. Why don't you do that and we'll come back to number 2.
Okay.
So I think we should call number 5 then.
Okay, just let me put them in the room.
Yes.
So this brings us to case number 5, hearing appeal ending 0417 1919 Morris Street, John Harley.
Okay, who's representing the city?
Good afternoon, board members. Jim Kelly on behalf of the city.
Kelly, who's Mr. Harley? Are you present? John Harley. Is that person's in the breakout? I mean, in a on the queue, Mr. Wait.
I don't see anyone in the waiting room under that name. Service was made.
Service was made. Okay, Mr. John Harley or anyone else representing the interest of 1919 Morris Street? Hearing none. City, what is your preference, Mr. Kelly?
The city would be asking for a city affirm for lack of appearance today.
Okay, Mr. Pincus, what time do you have?
1:29 p.m.
1:29 p.m. We will pull the board on HA 2023-000417-1919 Morris Street, John Harley. City affirmed non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance. By the way, Mr. Chairman, your voice isn't coming through clearly at my end.
Oh, okay. My apologies. Let me mix
That's
that
better.
Okay, thank you.
City affirmed non-appearance.
City affirmed lack of appearance.
City affirmed for non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
Thank you very much. All righty. Mr. Wade, are we down to number 11?
Yes.
Okay.
Hearing appeal ending 0448, 2524 North Colorado Street. Harold Costa II.
Okay, who's representing the city?
Good afternoon, members of the board. Mary Costello on behalf of the city of Philadelphia.
Mr. Costello, good afternoon. Harold Costa II, are you present?
Yes. I'm present.
Okay. Mr. Costa, as you raise your right hand so that you may be sworn. Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you give today be the truth so help you God?
I do.
All right, thank you. You can place your hand down. Before we begin, Mr. Costa, are you the sole owner of property 2524 North Colorado Street?
Correct.
Is it in your name as an individual?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, Ms. Costello, do you have any witnesses today?
I do, Chairman Woodson. I have one witness, and I believe he's on the call. It's Inspector Hogan.
Inspector Hogan, I don't see yet. If he can make himself known to us, then we will swear him in and you can get started.
Let me see. I did just see him.
We have a fairly wide screen today, quite a few participants. So
he is here, but
yeah.
he's muted.
Okay, so you can unmute him so that he can participate, please. Okay, would you call the name one more time so that we can decide what we will do?
My witness is Inspector Hogan, and I believe that he is on the call.
Ms. Costello, you may need to call him or someone to call him. Because
I will try to get in touch with him, Mr. Wilson.
Okay. All right, well, let's move on to the next matter then. Mr. Cost, Mr. Cost, what we're going to do, because we need
he's coming right now.
I was about to say, that's crazy.
Mr. Cost, we can't proceed without the witness. Okay, so
the witness is coming right now.
We will get this
we just
done.
Got a message.
Is he having problems connecting with us?
He's connected. I guess he's just away from his computer. I don't know. If you want to go to the next case, we can.
I feel like
here.
it should be dismissed.
I've been here.
An hour to be here.
Okay, no, Mr. Cost, you have an opportunity to speak. Please don't speak it out of turn, okay? All these cases will be heard today.
I'm here.
We know that. Oh, I'm sorry. Who was that? I misunderstood.
This is the inspector. I'm here the whole time.
But we can't.
He don't have his video on.
Yeah, Mr. Sir, you need to turn your video on so we can see your image. Mr. Hogan, do you know how to do that?
I'm looking at it right now, and it has camera, which is on, and unmute is on.
Okay, but we can't see you. Okay, Ms. Costello, are you able to confirm that this is in fact Mr. Hogan?
Yes.
Okay, in the meantime, Mr. Wade, is there anything you can do to help him fix his connectivity issue?
I just sent him a prompt to start his video.
All right, Mr. Cost, do you have any objection to proceeding without the image of the inspector being visible to you?
It's not an issue.
Okay. Okay. Is that Mr.
Hello?
Hogan, Ms. Costello?
Yes, this is Inspector Hogan.
Okay,
Chairman
Mr. Hogan,
Woodson.
you have to be stationary in one place. We can't start while you walk. Okay, Mr. Hogan, would you raise your right hand so that you may be sworn? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give today be the truth so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. Okay, Ms. Costello, please.
Members of the board, this matter involves a site violation notice, and I have Inspector Hogan here as my witness. Inspector Hogan, can you please state your full name for the board?
Christopher Hogan,
And what is your position with the department?
building inspector for L&I,
And how many years have you held that position?
6 years.
And based on your position, are you familiar with the Eclipse system?
Yes,
And is that the system of record keeping for the department?
yes,
And in that system, have you reviewed the case file for 2524 North Colorado Street?
yes,
So you're familiar with the property?
correct.
Okay. Permission to share my screen?
Yes.
Yeah. Inspector Hogan, can you please identify what's been marked as City Exhibit A?
It's a site violation notice.
Okay. And what's the date of that notice?
I believe it's 1/9/23.
And that would be the date that the inspector went to the property?
That was the date that, yes, the inspector went to the property.
Okay. And that's the date that the violation took place then, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And what was this violation for? Can you see?
It was for non-removal of construction debris in I guess an empty lot, or a lot that's supposed to be empty or something.
Okay.
Debris removal construction.
And you stated that this was a site violation notice. For site violation notices, they're written for a specific moment in time, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And finally, can you please identify what's been marked as City Exhibit B?
Yes, the inspector took a photo of the violation to put in with his SVN, a site violation notice.
Okay, and can you please identify what we're looking at in Exhibit B?
It looks like construction debris in a lot with a little building, I guess, like a little, like a little bit of construction in the rear, but it looks like plywood, 2x4s and such.
Okay, and this photograph was the basis for the site violation notice, correct?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. No further questions, Inspector Hogan.
Costello, before we proceed,
yes,
is this the only image that you have for us today? The only
so you can see here, Chairman Woodson, the site violation notices themselves. This is the image that the site violation notice was based on.
Okay. Okay. Alrighty. Mr. Cost, do you have any cross-examination questions for the inspector?
No, not really. That's not 2524 though.
Okay, you have an opportunity to argue your case in a moment, but you don't have any cross-examination based on his testimony.
Yeah, I got one question. How did you determine what addresses were correct when you went out to do your investigation?
I'm taking what I see from Eclipse. I didn't write the violation myself. This is written by a different inspector, but they're just basically, I'm here because I'm like, I know about our data system. Like I know about Eclipse.
Okay, so you actually didn't go out to the property?
Correct.
Oh, okay, I got confused about what they were saying as a witness. I thought you were the person that actually went to the site. All right.
No, I'm more or less like an expert on like the data entry for the Eclipse system.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Costello, do you have any additional witnesses?
I do not.
I have a question, Mr. Chair. It's
Yes,
real
sir.
quick. Who is Mr. Cross? I mean Harold Leo II. Who is that?
That's me.
You're not Mr. Cross.
I am, for some reason, the public records, they have the name spelled incorrectly. I've tried to get them to correct that. The deeds are correct, but whatever these online information, they spelled my name wrong. Leo's my middle name. Cost is my last name.
Okay. All right, let's do this then. Mr. Cost, why don't you share with us your response to this violation notice?
That structure is in 2522. It's not in 2524. Whoever came out here inaccurately wrote down the addresses.
Which address is the address that is your property?
2524 in the very bottom right corner of the picture that she had up. It's a pickup truck. That's my truck parked in 2524. It's empty. There's nothing built in 2524.
Okay, so the material that's shown in the violation, what address is that?
2522.
Next door to 2524?
Correct.
Okay, now that that material that's on 2522, is that your material?
Yes.
Okay, and is that property that you own?
The material?
No, the property, the site itself. Do you own that lot? 2522 North Colorado. You own 22?
Yes.
Okay, and does it have a construction fence around it to indicate that it's a construction site?
Does it have a fence?
Yes.
Yes.
And you're using it how? To store construction material?
Sometimes. Not at the moment, no.
At the time that this was taken, this photo was taken, what was it being used as?
I was using that material. It was there for a couple of days. I was loading it on the truck.
For work to be done at 2524 or at some other location?
Another location.
Oh, so you were using it as a storage space for your construction business?
Not a business, but yes. Other properties that I own.
So you're an investor or a real estate investor?
No.
Well, explain to me what it is then.
Well, I said it wasn't a business. Just properties that I own.
Do you live in them?
Yes.
You live in all of them?
2.
You live in 2 properties?
Yes.
I doubt that's accurate, but okay.
I live at 2531, and then I have another property that's in Pittsburgh, and I go back and forth.
Okay. All right. And your voting address is what?
The what address?
Your voting address, where you vote from, and your driver's license, etc.
2531 North Colorado.
Okay. Do you have other properties in Philadelphia that you own?
Just the 3, the 2 lots in the house. 2522,
What are the addresses of the 2 lots?
2522 and 2524 North Colorado.
And the material that we see in these images, where were they being deployed?
To Pittsburgh.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you. I need a executive session with the board for a moment. Mr. Cost, before we do that, do you have anything else you want to add that would be helpful to us?
What laws am I breaking by having my own?
Well, there's a violation. It's all in the violation itself. It's clearly in the violation. Read the violation, it'll tell you.
Yeah, I did read it. It just says that construction debris.
Okay.
What's wrong with that?
If you have problems, you may want to consult an attorney. We cannot give you legal advice. But have you spoken to the inspector or attempted to speak to the inspector?
No.
Okay. All right. We're going to take an executive session with the board. Join me. Ms. Costello?
Inspector Hogan?
Yes.
For the properties, they're located adjacent to each other, correct?
I think they're side by side,
Right.
25, 24, and 22.
And there's no marker on the property that says this is when 25, 22 starts and 25.
Ms. Costello, I believe Inspector Hogan stated he thinks, but he does not know for a fact.
Inspector Hogan, when you look at Eclipse.
Let's bring the photo up while we're talking so we have a reference point. Bring the photo up, please.
Sure. Inspector Hogan, when you see in the case file, can you see that 2522 and 2524 are two vacant lots that are adjacent to each other?
Yeah, I don't know if they're vacant. There's stuff on them. So like, I guess 22 would be on the right. If you're looking onto the photo, 24 would be on the left.
So
they're right next to each other, but I don't think they're vacant. There's stuff on them.
Right. Just to clarify, Inspector Hogan, vacant meaning there are not two houses on the property, correct?
Correct.
Right. So they should be vacant lots, correct?
I assume so, yes.
Okay.
Now, the question is the 2x4s and the plywood and other material. Which lot are those materials sitting?
Can it be positively stated on which lot those materials are located? The photograph, please note, says 2528 North Colorado Street.
Yeah, they're not like site specific. That's like a general guideline. They don't pinpoint your exact accuracy.
Okay. All right. And Mr. Hogan, you weren't there, right?
Ask a question, Mr. Chair?
Yes, please.
Inspector Hogan, can you testify with all certainty where the plywood is at? It's 24.
25, 24. It was written for 25, 24 North Colorado.
Okay, but my question is, could you testify with all certainty that
no,
where
I
the
haven't been
plywood
there.
is?
No, I haven't been there.
Okay. No more questions, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you.
I just have one further question for Inspector Hogan.
Yes.
Inspector Hogan, is there anything on the lot to indicate where 25, 24, and 25, 22 start and stop that you're aware of?
No.
Okay, so can you testify with certainty that it's not on 25, 24?
It could be on 25, 24. It could be on 25, 22. They're right next to each other. I don't know when the lot begins. I don't know where the lot ends.
Okay, it's just your testimony that there's construction debris all over 25, 22, and 25, 24 per the record in Eclipse, correct?
Correct.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Chair, I really did not understand the statement that Ms. Costello just made. Because if nothing else, he should be able to go on the city site and then show you all the property divide lines. So he wouldn't have to guess or look at a street marker. I can understand if you had cited the property for not showing the street marker. I just don't think, Mr. Chair, that Inspector Hogan can really be testifying on the accuracy of where that debris is.
Okay. All right. We'll take that. We'll duly noted. Okay. Mrs. Costello, do you have any closing final argument before we vote?
Chairman Whitson, I would just say that we've heard testimony from Inspector Hogan that per the Eclipse record, violations were written to this lot, which is 25, 22, and 25, 24 North Colorado Street. In the moment in time when the site violation notice was written, there is construction debris on that lot. We've also heard testimony from him that there's no marker. If you arrive, you might be able to look at it from Atlas, but if you arrive to the property, there's no marker that says this is where one lot starts and the other begins, because it's a giant, supposed to be empty lot. And the appellant has not made any testimony to indicate that where one lot starts and one begins.
Okay. Also, Ms. Costello, do you know if the violation notice includes the umbrellas and picnic benches, etc.? Is that part of the violation also?
No. So the site violation notice is just for the construction debris on the property.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Cost, do you have any final comments to make before we vote?
Yes, I have no documents that show that it's both properties. It only specifically states 25-24, not 25-22. Like you said, it states both, it doesn't.
Okay. All righty. All right, thank you. We've heard the testimony regarding HA 2023-000448-2524 North Colorado Street, Harold Cost II, appeal sustained.
City affirmed.
Appeal sustained.
Appeal sustained.
Appeal sustained.
Appeal sustained.
Appeal sustained.
Okay, the majority vote, appeal sustained. Mr. Cost, you won your appeal. Thank you very much. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you. You have a good day.
Thank you.
Have a good afternoon.
Thank you.
Okay. Number 12 next, Mr. Wade, or do we want to hear from Mr. Rulo?
Well, I think Mr. Rulo wants to speak to case number 38. I also believe that there was a resolution in case number 39, and I believe the Mandarin interpreter was excused. Is that correct, Amy?
Okay. So let's call Mr. Rulo since his hand is up. Mr. Rulo?
Yes, good afternoon again, board members. So I did endeavor to get someone who could, from our office, who could speak Spanish to communicate the continuance. It appears in the interim, however, that Mr. Paredes has left the meeting. So, we will attempt to communicate with him based on the number that was on the appeal document. I would note that there was an email included on the appeal documents, but I've sent multiple messages to that email and it does not appear to be a active email as it's bounced back. So
okay.
We will do our best, but since Mr. Paredes has left the meeting, we are where we are with that.
Okay, well, thank you for your efforts. And I believe the written communication is written, Mr. Wade, is it also available in Spanish?
No, it's in English.
In English? Oh, okay. So
Mr.
we'll have,
Chairman,
that's something we'll need to.
Mr. Chairman, if I might make
yes.
a suggestion, which I'm sure Mr. Rulo has considered, but Mr. Fernandez speaks fluent Spanish.
Mr. Fernandez was prepared to get on the meeting to communicate this to Mr. Paredes. When Mr. Paredes left the meeting, I called Mr. Fernandez off. My intent is to try and call that number with Mr. Fernandez as soon as I am able. And we'll attempt to communicate this to Mr. Paredes. Otherwise, I guess we'll just have to, schedule the translator for the next hearing and go from there. But I will do my best, Chairman, to communicate the items that you noted and go from there. Unless there are any other questions, I'd respectfully ask if I may please be excused at this time. This was my only case for today.
Okay, you're excused. Have a good afternoon.
And then I would just note for Inspector Francine Griffin that this matter is, being continued. So if this was your only case, you're excused as well.
Okay. Yep.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, board members.
Have a good afternoon. Okay, Mr. Wade, what was the other matter that we wanted to resolve?
We have the matter with the Mandarin interpreter who Amy can read the settlement into the record.
Yes, and the Mandarin interpreter is still here and present if the board has any questions. But
But is the appellant still here or not?
I believe so. Yes, yes, the
Okay,
appellant
so
is here.
It's just appellant is still here. And Mr. Interpreter, actually, let me raise your right hand so I can have you on the record. Do you swear that you will faithfully translate from English to Mandarin and Mandarin to English the proceedings in this matter?
Yes, I do.
All right, thank you. Put your name on the record for us, please.
Mike Wang, W-A-N-G.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Gals, would you formally tell us which case this is, please?
Yes, this is case matter 39, appeal HA 2023-004510 at 6412 West Girard Avenue.
Okay.
The appellant is the owner of the property, Miss Jean Lynn
Excuse
June.
me, Mr. Chair, she should take a break so he can interpret it.
Yeah, that's what I'm just prepared to tell them. So let's do this, Mr.
I'll stop there.
Interpreter. We would like you to interpret everything that's said in English, and then we will give you time to do that so that the appellant who's still on the line can understand what we're doing. So
Will do.
Do you need Ms. Gals to repeat anything, or do you know?
I would, yes, because I didn't write down the case number and the address.
Okay.
Yes, I'll start over. So we're here for case number 39 on the list.
我们今天现在来讨论今天第39个案件。
That's appeal number HA 2023-004510.
这个是HA 2023004510这个上述的案件。
For address 6412 West Girard Avenue.
地址是在6412西 Girard West Girard Avenue。
And the agreement reached is for a city affirm 6-month stay of enforcement.
我们达成的协议就是承认市政府判定的违规，然后有6个月的时间可以来申请合法居住的证明。
Ms. Yoon, do you agree that that was the agreement? The city affirmed 6-month stay?
请问于女士，您同意这个协议的内容吗？就是您接受市政府给您的违规，然后您有6个月的时间来修正，去取得合法居住的证明。
She has to say something. She can't shake her head.
请您要讲话，不能够点头表示，请您发声音讲你的回答。
She's muted.
She is muted.
您现在是静音的，请您把话筒打开。
不好意思，是的，是的。
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you. The record will reflect settlement and city affirmed 6-month stay of enforcement.
好，那就市政府接受这个协议这个业主接受政府派裁定的违规，然后有6个月的时间来更正。
Ms. Gals, anything else on this matter?
Nothing on this matter. I would like to bring the board's attention to matter number 2 on the list.
Okay, before we get to 2, I just want to make sure that the interpreter as well as Ms. Yoon are excused. Sir, would you please inform Ms. Yoon that she's excused?
We are dismissed. OK， 好的，那现在我们可以下线了。他们这个关于您的案件结束了。好，谢谢，再见。 This is interpreter. I'll be disconnecting now. Thank you for using our service.
Thank you very
all
much.
have a wonderful day. Bye bye.
好，谢谢哈。
好，不客气，再见。
Thank you. Okay,
Mr. Chairman, before we move to the next case and before I forget, I would like to request that we have a short executive, at least at the moment, short executive session at the end of the hearings today before we.
Yes, at the end of the hearing, we will do that.
Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Gals?
Yes, on matter number 2 on the list, HA 2023-00093, 1914 South Front Street. The appellant is John Hines. I apologize, I was unaware at the call of the list, but my inspector is unexpectedly unavailable today. So I would respectfully be asking for a continuance for my witness's availability.
Okay, is Mr. John Hines present?
Yes, I do see Mr. Hines here.
Mr. Hines, you are muted, sir. So would you kindly unmute?
Yep, I'm here.
Yes, it's been drawn to our attention that the witness that was scheduled to be here today is not present and is needed to present the case. I know this is an imposition on you because you're prepared to move forward, I assume, correct?
Yeah, I've been sitting here for 2 hours.
Yeah, so we apologize for that imposition on your schedule, but unfortunately, we just got this information just brought to us. So we're going to ask your indulgence to continue this matter. Now, Ms. Giles must be heard any future hearings. What that means, Mr. Hines, is that it'll have to go. If not, we'll make a decision, but it has to proceed. The city will not be able to ask for any additional continuances. You understand what I've just stated?
No, I can't understand you.
Okay, what I've just said is that I've indicated that if we continue this matter at the city's request, it will be heard with the requirement that it must be tried at the next hearing, meaning that the city will not be allowed to ask for any additional continuances.
Okay.
Okay, now, before we proceed on this, before we dismiss this matter for the moment, are you the sole owner of this property?
Me and my wife.
You and your wife? So there's no corporation involved, just you and your wife is the owners?
Yep.
Okay, all right, thank you. So my apologies again. We will have to continue this matter for today. Okay.
Yep.
You will get a note. Do you get further notices in the mail and email of the new hearing date and time?
Okay, no problem.
Thank you.
Thank you. I
You
can
may
leave.
excuse. Yes.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Alrighty. So what's next, Mr. Wade?
We're down to case 12, but real quick, Amy, was there another breakout room you were requesting for a different case?
There was, but I do not see the appellant. I'm going to try to give him a call now.
Okay.
Again.
All right, that brings us to case 12. Hearing appeal ending 0479 2000 Valletta Street, Jahir Williams Hill.
Okay. Who's representing the city?
Good afternoon, board members. Jim Kelly on behalf of the city.
Kelly, good afternoon. The appellant, Jahir Williams Hill. The appellant, Jahir Williams Hill. Mr. Wade, do we see anyone in the breakout room with that name?
I don't see anyone. Just give me 1 second. I don't see anyone. I can check service.
Okay, please. Mr. Kelly, while we're waiting, do you have any witnesses for today?
I do. Detective Berner.
Okay. All right, we won't swear in until we know that the appellant is actually part of the base hearing.
No one on the call and service was made.
Okay. Mr. Kelly, what's your preference? He's not present, no responding.
As a result, the city would ask for a city affirm for failure to appear.
Okay. Mr. Pincus, what time do you have?
2:11 p.m.
2:11 p.m. We will call the vote on HA 2023-000479, 2000 Valletta Street, Jahir Williams Hill, city affirmed non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
City affirmed for non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Wade, where we are?
Case number 18. Hearing appeal ending 0522 3958 North Fish Street, Israel Mendez.
Okay, who's representing the city?
Yes, good afternoon. Amy Skiles on behalf of the city.
Ms. Skiles, Mr. Mendez, Israel Mendez. Israel Mendez.
They are on the call. They've been.
There's someone with Samsung. I'm not sure if that's the person.
That's them. Hold on. Let me try.
Don?
Israel Mendez.
Yes.
Okay, are you Mr. Mendez?
Yes.
Okay, sir, would you raise your right hand so that you may be sworn?
Yes.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you give today be the truth so help you God?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. You can place your hand down.
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Giles, do you have a witness for today?
Yes, my witness for this matter is Supervisor Robert Keenan.
Okay, Mr. Keenan, I don't see him.
I know. I see.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Can you hear me, sir?
I can hear you, but I need to see you.
I can't see.
It should be an option on your screen to give you start your video.
Rob, I'll send you a prompt.
Okay, thank you.
You see it?
Yes, sir. Hello, thank you.
All right, thank you. Mr. Keenan, would you raise your right hand so you may be sworn? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give today be the truth so help you God?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, Ms. Giles, let's go.
Yes, thank you. Supervisor Keenan, where are you currently employed?
Department of License and Inspections, working with our Permits Division.
Okay.
Construction.
And how long have you been with the department?
Over 10 years.
Okay. And over the course of your duties with the department, have you become familiar with the property and violations issued to 3958 North 5th Street?
Yes, I have.
Okay. And with the board's permission, I will now share my screen.
Okay.
That's what I City Hall. What I'm talking about.
I think I
Okay, we can see that.
You can see. I am just having a hard time seeing what I'm sharing.
I have the case file summary, Ms. Skiles, if you need just to go ahead and answer your questions.
Oh, I can't see that.
Bear with me for 1 second.
I made a mistake. No, if I made a mistake, wait, don't change it.
It's you.
Okay.
Huh?
It's you.
Okay.
What's that? What's me?
So can you see?
Ms. Giles, just for a moment.
Yes.
Mr. Mendez,
yeah.
Everything that we say is being recorded. So as you're speaking to whoever's in the room with you, that conversation is being recorded. So what we'd ask you to do, if you need to speak with someone in your room, mute yourself, have that conversation. Because once you say something, it comes through to us, okay?
I'm very sorry, sir. I have glaucoma and I'm speaking to you through the phone. I can't see the pictures. I can't see your face. I can't see nobody in court nor read what's in front of me. And she's the one that's doing me the favor and telling me what's going on. I apologize. But this is why I wanted to go personally to court.
Okay. Miss,
I have glaucoma. I cannot see nobody or read anything, not even pictures. So she's telling me what's going
just for a
on.
moment.
I apologize.
Yeah, well, that's important information to know. Ms. Giles.
Yes.
Given the appellant's statement regarding his inability to see what you're putting on the screen, what is your position as to whether or not we should proceed?
I of course want the appellant to be able to fully participate in this appeal hearing. This is the appellant's appeal. So I would like for the appellant to be able to fully participate. I don't know if the board is offering. Yeah.
Well, let me ask Mr. Mendez, of course. Mr. Mendez, do you have any medical procedure schedule that would improve your ability to participate via computer?
No, I'm supposed to I won't be able to see on the even in the future, I won't be able to see the phone. My eyes supposed to get worse by the year, but I'm trying to solve this problem because actually what happened, somebody.
Well, no. We don't want you to testify on the case. Don't give us any facts here.
I'm sorry.
Do you have access to a computer screen that's larger? And would that make a difference?
No, it would not make a difference because, like I said, my glaucoma is very bad. It's not like a lot of people that still drive with glaucoma.
Okay,
let's do this. Stage.
Okay, let me do this. Just for a moment. Yes, sir. Just for a moment.
Yes.
We need to consult with our lawyer, Ms. Skiles. I need to consult with the board's attorney.
Yes.
And so we're going to take a short break and go into executive session again. And so we can consult with our attorney. Okay? Just for a moment. We'll go back on the record for this matter, number 18, 3958 North 5th Street. Ms. Skiles, I think what we're going, this is a very unusual case for us. I think this is what we're going to do. The board has several questions for the appellate, as well as, and I think that will lead us in a certain direction. We want to know if there's a way to navigate this hearing without having to continue it. Mr. Mendez.
Yes.
Is someone in the room with you who's helping you? Who is that?
I stepped on it.
You stepped on it. Does she live with you?
Yes.
Okay. Is she willing to come on the screen and be sworn?
No.
She's not willing to do that?
No.
Okay. Well, if she isn't willing to do that, may I ask you who helped you prepare the appeal application?
God. Oh, my cousin.
Your cousin. Okay. Well, Mr. Mendez, what we're going to need to do, what you will need to do is we're going to have to continue this matter. You will need to have someone in the hearing with you when this is rescheduled who is cited, who is someone who's close to you, who is intimately aware of the problem and willing to be your eyes in this hearing.
Well, my cousin is in Florida now.
Well, I'm not sure who, you will decide who that is. But what I'm saying to you, it has to be someone who is connected.
Is there any way we could try to solve the problem? You got pictures? The inspector was here. I was here when the inspector took the pictures.
Yeah, but the problem, sir, is that no, listen to me. The problem is that you cannot participate in today's hearing because of your sight. And we need to make sure that you're able to participate and have full knowledge of the information that Ms. Skiles is presenting. You may not agree with it, but if you can't see it, you can't make it a judgment.
No, I would like to do it today.
Ms. Skiles?
If I could, Mr. Mendez, if we could provide you, if we could print the exhibits and provide them to you in paper form, would that help? Could you see paper better than the screen?
The inspector who was here, I think his name was Martinez. He took pictures. I explained to him.
Mr. Mendez, you aren't answering the question. Answer the question that was asked.
Say it again.
If I could provide you, if we continued this hearing and I could provide you a paper copy of the exhibits, would that help? Could you see physical printouts of the exhibits?
Could we do it without the pictures? I mean, I understand. I understood what happened downstairs. I understood what happened with the inspector. No.
I want to show you the pictures.
Yeah, but I'm gonna have a hard time seeing it.
He's still gonna have a hard time seeing it.
Okay, the voice in the background, ma'am, unless you're willing to come on the screen, please do not speak, okay?
Sure.
Okay, Ms. Skiles, we're in the middle of a bit of a quandary.
I guess.
Mr. Chairman, may I speak?
Yes, please.
Mr. Mendez, this is Ralph Pincus on the board. What we need is for someone to be able to look at the pictures and have you agree that the pictures that are being presented are pictures of the property that is the subject of this. Are you listening to me, sir?
Yes.
So whether since you can't see the pictures, we need someone there with you who is able to verify and get you to agree that these are pictures of your property. That's what we need. And the person with you right now can't speak because they haven't agreed to be sworn in that their testimony is truthful. So you're the only person right now who can answer the questions that either I or the chairman are asking.
You don't mind? So we can hurry up with this. Okay? You don't mind being sworn in real quick? So we can do this real quick. All you have to do is look at the picture. You get the sister? I need to get off of this quick. I need to solve this problem. Yes, can you give me a minute, please?
I'll tell you what we're going to do. We have some other cases. I'd be willing to continue this for 10 minutes. Talk to your family members, see who's willing, and then we will let us know when you're ready to come back on. We'll bring you back in, okay?
Okay, thank you very much.
Ms. Giles, do you have something else for us today? Is this it for you?
No, I believe I may have the remainder of the list, so I'll be here.
Okay, so Mr. Mendez, we're going to mute you and allow you to talk to your family members, then come back, okay?
Okay, thank you very much.
Mr. Chair, I would like to be excused from the next case.
Yes, sir. You excuse.
Thank you.
Mr. Wade, what do we have next?
Case 32, hearing appeal ending 0619, 5618 through 22 Shoe Avenue. Gene? Frank Aganadu.
Okay. Who's handling that matter?
Amy Skiles on behalf of the city.
Okay. Is the appellant present?
There's no one unidentified in the waiting room. I don't see anyone.
Okay, Gene.
Under that name.
Agandanu. Ogandanu. Agandanu. Gene Frank Agandanu. Anyone present? Okay. Was the service?
Service was made.
Okay, Ms. Giles, what is your preference?
For this one, as no one is present, we would ask for a city affirm for failure to appear.
Okay, Mr. Pincus, what time do you have?
2:36 p.m.
2:36 p.m. Okay, we'll call the board. HA-2023-000-619-5818 Shoe Avenue, Gene Frank Agandanu. Agondanu. City affirm, non-appearance.
City affirm, non-appearance.
City affirm non-appearance.
City affirm non-appearance.
City affirm for non-appearance.
City affirm non-appearance.
Thank you very much. Okay, Mr. Wade, what else do we have?
Case number 40, hearing appeal ending 05. I'm sorry, apologies. Case number 40, hearing appeal ending 5136, 3341 North Water Street, Latina Lawrence.
Okay. Ms. Giles, is that your matter?
Yes, Amy Skiles on behalf of the city of Philadelphia.
Okay. Alrighty. Latanya Lawrence. Anyone present representing the interests of 3341 North Water Street? If unmute yourself and speak up or raise your hand so that you can be identified. Anyone present?
Chair, just looking at the appeal, it looks like it might have been filed by a tenant.
That's correct. The appellant is the occupant of the property, not the owner.
Okay. but the appellant isn't present at the moment, so no one's responding.
It doesn't appear that way, no.
Okay. Mr. Wade, can you confirm service?
Service was made.
Okay, service is made. Ms. Giles, what's your preference?
At this time, we would ask for a city affirm for non-appearance.
Okay, thank you. Time, Mr. Pincus?
2:38 p.m.
2:38 p.m. Okay. We will call the board, poll the board on HA-2023-005-136-3341 North Water Street, Latanya Lawrence. City affirm non-appearance.
City affirm non-appearance.
City affirm non-appearance.
City affirm non-appearance.
City affirm for non-appearance.
City affirm non-appearance.
Thank you very much. Okay. And then that brings us back to, I guess, number 41.
Unless case,
well, let's see if
Mr. Mendez.
Mr. Mendez has a solution. Let's go back to 18.
Recalling case 18. Hearing appeal ending 0522.
Mr. Israel Mendez. Mr. Mendez, do you have a solution for us?
She's gonna look at the pictures and that explains it.
Who is that?
My stepdaughter.
Pardon, your stepdaughter?
Yes.
Okay, have her step in. I need to see her face. She needs to be sworn in.
Yes.
Okay, ma'am, can you get closer to the screen, a little closer to the screen? Yes. Please give us your name.
Luz Carrillo.
Spell your last name, please.
Carillo.
Okay, just one moment. My apologies. One more time, because you aren't close. We didn't hear you clearly.
Carillo.
Okay, and your first name again?
Luz.
Okay, Luz Carrillo. Is that not correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And your relationship to Mr. Mendez?
My stepdad.
Okay. All righty. And would you raise your right hand so that you may be sworn? Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you give would be the truth to help you God?
Yes.
Okay. And ma'am, are you 18 years of age or older?
Yes.
Okay. Just before we proceed, Ms. Skiles, any additional information we need to confirm this person is satisfactory?
No.
Okay. All righty. Now, Ms. Mendez, what we would like you to do is to be Mr. Mendez, Ms. Carrillo, rather. What we'd like you to do is be Mr. Mendez's eyes for this hearing. So if we're going to show images and photographs and documents, and we need you to describe what we're showing, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Pardon me?
Yes.
Okay. Now, there may be a necessity for him to respond with yes or no or whatever, so he will need to do that. So you may need to sit next to him, but only one person can speak at a time, okay? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, you have to be an audible oral answer because you're being recorded. Everything we say is being recorded. Okay. All right, so Ms. Skiles, let's start all over again. See if we can get this done.
Yes, so my witness will be Supervisor Robert Keenan.
Okay, so let's continue with Mr. Keenan.
Okay. Okay, Supervisor Keenan, I'm just gonna start again. Where are you currently employed?
The Department of License and Inspections. Go ahead.
And how long have you been with the department?
Over 10 years.
And through the course of your work with the department, have you become familiar with the property and the violations issued to 3958 North 5th Street?
I have.
Okay. And now with the board's permission, I will share my screen again. And now, Supervisor Keenan, let me know when you can see what I am sharing on my screen.
I believe you have the violation notice order to correct.
Yes. And so can you describe for the board what this document is?
This is the well, I can see the top portion anyhow.
Okay, I can scroll down.
Yes, please. These are the two violations that would be listed that the initial inspector initiated with the photos. Inspector Martinez was the original inspector assigned to this case, and he was working under me at the time, which we reviewed his findings.
Okay. And what violations did Inspector Martinez issue?
Okay, look, Ms. Skiles, in this instance, I'm going to ask Mr. Keenan to be very specific and read each violation and the fine amount associated with it, okay?
Yes, sir. All right, under section A 301.1/7, a building permit is required for the interior demolition of walls, floors, ceilings, roof, stairways of a structure. You must obtain a required permit for the work done for the interior. The next violation was A 301.1/4. A building permit is required for altering, repairing, or improving the interior portion of a structure. Obtain the required permit for being done in the interior, and both fine amounts are at $300.
Okay, before we proceed though, Ms. Carrillo, are you following along the same information?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Mendez, are you understanding what we just did?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, I think we may have a workable system, Ms. Skiles, so we can proceed along those lines.
Okay. I am going to scroll along to City Exhibit 2. Supervisor Keenan, what is depicted in City Exhibit 2?
This would be the front of the property located at 3958 North 5th Street.
Okay. And once again, what is depicted here in City Exhibit 2?
The inspector posted a stop work order at this location, and inside the photo on the door is the stop work order.
Okay. Ms. Skiles, before you scroll away, I apologize for breaking in.
No.
But I just need to confirm by Mr. Mendez and Ms. Carrillo that this is in fact their property.
Yes.
Okay. That's the property that Mr. Mendez owns?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay. And before describing the following photograph, Inspector Keenan, Inspector Mendez, have you reviewed the entire case file for this violation?
I'm sorry, Ms. Skiles, is it Inspector Keenan that you were asking the question?
I'm sorry, I was asking Supervisor Keenan. Supervisor Keenan, have you reviewed the entire case file for this violation, CF 2023-002854?
I have.
And included in this case file, are there photographs of the interior of the property located at 3958 North 5th Street?
Yes, this would be this is the interior portion.
Okay. And can you describe what you see in this photograph that would lead to a violation being written?
What it looks like in the photo is that there's fire ratings that have been opened in the ceiling. Mm-hmm. And the concern was if there was interior demolition being performed or any type of demolition for any type of problems that may have occurred from above, a permit would be required for the material that's in here. If this was just for storage or whatnot, but all the cams for the new lighting in here, if wiring was run, because these pendants did not come with this property. We didn't write an electrical violation for that because we could not tell if new wiring was being run at that time. So we decided to write a violation for interior demolition because we could tell that they started to do something above, and the fire ratings between spaces has compromised. Okay. And we can tell with all the new sheetrock and spackling that was performed.
Just to highlight, you mentioned the new sheetrock and spackling in the rear right of the photograph. You can see that there's new sheetrock and new spackling back there.
Yeah, I believe there's. Sorry, I'm trying to see the photo a little clearer.
I can.
Yeah, just
would that help?
Yeah, in the back, there was more things going on, but we just tried to get the owners to identify what work they were being performed. We see a hot water heater in there, but we didn't get any access to see if the building had hot water or not.
Okay. I do have an additional photo. Can you see what's depicted in this photograph?
Yes. So,
and what is depicted in this photograph?
Excuse me, Ms. Skiles, should we go back to the preceding photograph and have Miss Carrillo confirm through Mr. Mendez what that photo describes, and that is his property, and that photo describes a construction sheetrock installation and holes in the ceiling and a hot water heater? Can his stepdaughter confirm this is a picture of the property that is the subject of the violation notice?
Ms. Carrillo?
Yes.
Ms. Carrillo, given that we've asked you to be Mr. Mendez's eyes in this, does this represent the interior of the property that Mr. Mendez owns?
I do see heat.
Pardon me?
I do see a water heater.
Yes, it was a water heater. Yes.
Yeah.
So it's
And you see new sheetrock being installed, and there are some holes cut in the ceiling?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. And so, Supervisor Keenan, moving on to this photograph. Is this also a photograph that was taken of the interior of 3958 North 5th Street?
Yes, it was.
And what does this photograph depict?
Some of the building materials that were inside, new fire-rated doors, framing on the top there. You see a fire-rated door assembly. You see a wood frame assembly that has fire-rated hinges that are depicted in that picture.
Okay. And so based on
Ms. Skiles, Ms. Skiles, again, before you move on, I just think we need to have the appellant confirm that this is a picture of his property and the materials that were described by Inspector Keenan are in fact in that property. Again, can Ms. Carrillo and Mr. Mendez confirm this is a picture of the subject property?
Yes.
Mr. Mendez, you can agree?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. And Ms. Skiles, we'll need to do that for each of these photos if you're going to give testimony in the record.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
I said we'll need to do that for each photo that you place on the record.
Yes, I believe that is my last photo. I just had some follow-up questions.
Okay.
Okay, so Supervisor Keenan, based on the interior photos and the work that you can see through these photographs, would a permit be required for the type of work that's depicted in these photographs?
It would.
And at the time the violation was written, and let me go back to the initial notice of violation. So this, could you read the date that this the notice of violation was written?
Yes, on 1/12/2023.
And on January 12th, 2023, was there a permit for this interior work?
Not at that time, no.
Not at that time. So at the time these violations were written, were these violations issued correctly?
They were.
And was a permit ever applied for this property?
There was.
And when was a permit applied for?
There was a permit applied for August 31st, 2023 for interior non-structural work being performed, the removal of water damage, concrete wire mesh on the front walls and wall and floor coverings, the replacement covering of walls, ceilings, and a 2-hour fire-rated sheetrock assembly from water damage at a floor covering to replace with tiles. They would like to illustrate that they wanted to replace the stucco on the lower portion of the exterior wall, which we do have a photo of some damage that's on the exterior. But we did not illustrate that because there was no work being performed on the exterior at the time.
Mm-hmm. So in the permit application, does that seem to accurately reflect the work that was being completed on the interior of the subject premises?
It looks, for the most part, of the damage of some of the work that was started. I couldn't verify all the work because of everything was covered on the floor with other supplies.
Okay. And so we know the permit was applied for. I'm sorry, could you repeat the date that permit was applied for?
That was applied for August 31st, 2023.
And was that permit ever issued?
No, that was not issued. It's still in the submit status.
What does that mean? Still in the submit status?
They had asked to provide further information, a Jeremiah Jenkins, and I believe that was a contractor. He was asked to provide further information, and that was never followed up on.
Okay, so a permit has never been issued for this property?
No, in the status now, it's been considered withdrawn.
Withdrawn, okay. So as we sit here today before the board, those violations that were initially issued, are they still outstanding?
They are.
Okay. I have no further questions for Inspector Keenan. I offer for any cross examination.
Okay. Mr. Mendez, do you have any questions for the witness? Any cross-examination questions for the witness?
Yes.
Okay, please ask.
Well, the property was used as storage. There was a pipe that burst. It damaged.
Okay, now, Mr. Mendez, well, what I need you to do you have any questions for Mr. Keenan based on all the things he just said?
Mm-hmm. Oh, no, Mr. Keenan and I talked a couple of times, and
okay. So what we'll do, okay. So you don't have any cross-examination questions. When Ms. Skiles finishes her case, then you can then tell us what you did, what happened, okay, on your side.
I understand now, sir. Thank you.
Ms. Skiles, anything else?
No further questions. I would just ask to move the city exhibits into the record.
So moved. Okay. Thank you. Okay, Mr. Mendez, it's your opportunity now to tell us if you, in fact, were having work done without the required permits and what happened.
What happened was the pipe burst. It did damage to the ceiling, did damage to the wall, did damage to the floor. And I turned around and got a plumber to fix it. And I got somebody to fix the sheetrock. Now, I did not know I needed a permit for a leak that created a lot of damage as far as the area that he took pictures of. I explained that to the inspector. I was not trying to dodge the city or dodge the permits until after the inspector told me that I still needed a permit for a 2x2 piece of sheetrock that they cut off and fixed. I'm sorry. That on the ceiling, I'm talking about the ceiling, and then the wall, yes. I did put some sheetrock on. I didn't know I needed permits for that because a lot of people put sheetrock on the walls and fix what little damage they have. And I knew I had to go and pull out permits for things like that. I was not trying to.
A question for you, Mr. Mendez. Did you ask your plumber and the contractors to request to apply for the permits?
They never told me I needed permits because
you didn't hear my question. My question to you is, did you ask them or direct them to apply for their permits?
After I found out that there were violations, I didn't know there were violations.
Okay, so did they submit applications for the permit? Did you get a plumbing permit, for instance?
No, because the plumbing permit, he said no, it was a small job. So To be honest with you, Your Honor, I hired so many people, and I got so many different things said. I even got what was that lady that gave me that paper? Expediter. They told me I need an expediter, and then I talked to Mr. Keenan, and he said I didn't need that either. And you know, I was running back and forth. Everybody turns around. Oh, you need this, or you need. Oh, I need those things, but you know, they spending money on things that I need. I even got a building inspector. I don't need a building inspector.
Okay.
So many things I've been going through, because if you're not smart at certain things, they would always get you. It was a back and forth, Your Honor. I went to City Hall 4 to 6 times. I bothered Mr. Keenan so many times. I had to apologize.
Do you now understand what kinds of permits that you need?
Yes, sir. Not all, just some. Because I don't understand why I need a permit to fix up a leak in the ceiling.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Well, I think I do, but let's just move on. Ms. Scalzo, do you have any questions for Mr. Mendez? You muted, Ms. Scalzo.
No questions.
Okay. All righty. Ms. Scalzo, I do have a question to Mr. Keenan.
Yes.
Mr. Keenan, Mr. Mendez has noted several conversations that the two of you have had. Have you been able to provide him with the basic information regarding the minimum number of permits that are required?
The violations explain the minimum number of permits. And if I'm not sure if he understands the type of property that he has, because it's a commercial CMX2. And, you know, with a commercial property, you have to show drawings of the fire rating that he compromised. And it can be difficult. Now, I've never known Mr. Mendez. He's always been cordial on the phone, but I didn't realize that he had a visual issue. If he may need someone to help him with this process, he can call the plan review department, but because he's a CMX2, he might need a professional contractor or architect to maybe draw something up. And that's kind of where it's at right now, Your Honor.
Okay. Anyone else have any questions?
I do, if I may, Mr. Chairman. I think this is for Inspector Keenan, but you had described what was in the photographs that were taken, and they showed not just a question, as Mr. Mendez has stated, there was water damage from a leak, but you described new doors that were fire rated. You indicated in your testimony that you observed electrical work being done, but you didn't know for a fact if there was rewiring. So if I'm understanding you correctly, there was work being done that was substantially more than just patching the holes or leaks that were in that were caused by a pipe burst. Is that an accurate assessment?
Well, Mr. Pincus, we did not catch anyone working at the time, running wire. You know, I don't know if those pendants were already there. I just know the age of the home, and they did not come with the property. The storage of the doors, there's no rule about him having fire-rated doors and storing them there. I don't know if they were installed on another floor or if they were installed from another building somewhere else. So I couldn't write him up for that. I do note, though, all the work that was installed, and we reviewed this with my inspector, Martinez, at the time, what we could write him up for. I didn't want to write up false violations that we could not prove.
Thank you, Inspector Keenan. Supervisor Keenan.
Thank you, Mr. Pincus.
All right. Thank you very much. If there are no additional questions, Mr. Mendez.
Mr.
Yes.
Chairman,
Yes.
if you don't mind, I do have a quick question for Mr.
Yes.
Mendez, 1 or 2 questions.
Yes.
Mr. Mendez, the Supervisor Keenan testified that there were multiple fire-rated doors observed in the basement. Where were those doors going to be used?
I had the downstairs as a storage, and I went to court 10 years ago because somebody was doing work there without permits, and I won the case. Let me explain to you the whole story because then they'll understand the whole thing.
No, we don't need a whole story. I don't think, Mr. Mendez.
All right, well, that was ran 10 years ago. I went to court. I won the case in court because he turned around and he did things without also pulling out permits. I let the whole building shut down for 10 years. I used it as storage. Some of those things in there were storage, and they were used elsewhere. If you send an inspector over, whenever you like, you will see those doors do not exist there because they went for somewhere else. I just used it for storage for me, my family, my friends, whoever needed someplace to put something because if they had the money to buy storage or put storage.
Mr. Mendez, is this property occupied?
No.
The entire building is vacant, is that correct?
Oh, no. I live upstairs. The downstairs been closed 10 years. 10 or 15 years? About 15 years the downstairs been closed. No, because I went to court 10 years ago. I went to court 10 or 15 years. I don't remember the timing. But it was closed for between 10 and 15 years. It was shut down.
So the commercial space is empty, but you live on the upper floors. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you install those pendant lights after you had the water issue in the basement?
No, that was about 10, 15 years ago.
So those lights were there from the prior owner?
Yes.
I don't have any other questions. Thank you, Mr. Mendez.
Thank you.
Okay. There's nothing else. Mr. Mendez, anything else you want to add before Ms. Skiles gives her closing statement?
Well, like I said, I didn't know I needed certain papers to do certain jobs downstairs. I was not trying to do or create violations for myself or problems for myself. And I found out through Mr. Keaton that I didn't need his stuff, and I tried to get contractors or whoever I can to help me with the issue. That's all it was.
Okay. All right. Thank you,
Mr. Chairman, may I ask a further question?
Yes.
Mr. Mendez, Ms. Skiles mentioned that a permit was applied for on August 31st of 2023. Is that a permit that you authorized someone to apply for?
Yes. After I found out I needed permits, I went and got, like I said, I got an expediter. I went to City Hall. Yeah, I went to City Hall. I got so many people to help me out. We realized that we were being misdirected. I tried to cooperate with the courts, Mr. Keenan, with City Hall, just to find out what way to go. And I went to City Hall 7 times. It was actually no help, to be honest, because if they would have guided me direct, then I would not have to go through all these issues that I'm going through now.
Mr. Chair, I have a question of Supervisor Keenan.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Supervisor Keenan, you mentioned the fact that a permit was applied for. Do you know, and you mentioned the name, which I was not able to record it. Do you know if that permit was applied for by a general contractor or an expediter?
Jeremiah Jenkins is listed as a contractor.
Okay.
That's his license. That's what his license is active as.
All right. Thank you very much.
But the expediter worked with him.
Okay. Okay. But now why do you know that they never completed the application process?
I found out recently. I found out about 2 months ago.
And do you know why they did not complete the application process?
I know. He told me that I needed a building inspector, which I got in order for him to do his job. And the expediter told me the same thing.
No,
So
I'm saying, did they tell you why they did not respond to the city's request for more information to complete your application, your building permit application?
Because they told me I needed a building inspector.
Well, what's a building inspector?
I do not know. They tell me what to do. I hired them, and then they tell me that I needed a floor plan.
Yeah.
And then I hired somebody to get the floor plans. The last time I went to City Hall, excuse me, please. I know, after the floor plans. After I did everything with everybody that I hired, the floor plans was the last thing. I went down City Hall, showed to them, and they told me, we don't want this. So I'm very confused. And I was pushed all over to try to solve this problem. It's been a year.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
yes.
If I may ask Supervisor Keenan if he could repeat what they responded to Mr. Jeremiah Jenkins for the additional information was that the department asked for?
They applied for some things and gave the plan reviewer, I believe it was Jeremiah Jenkins, not Mr. Mendez, but they provided him with easy permit standards. And this is a CMX2 property. You can't take an easy permit, which is for like residential property under a CMX2, and supply that to our plan reviewer. They're just going to send them away and say, please bring us back the appropriate documentation. They're not going to teach the contractors on how to do it. They want them to know what they're doing before they're applying. I don't, if they ever related that back to Mr. Mendez, I have no idea. But I do know that that was illustrated by Ryan Wheeler, the plans examiner. Doesn't qualify for an easy permit. He wrote that in his documentation.
Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Ms. Scales, any final argument before we vote?
Just briefly, the city is just asking for a city affirm today. I don't think Mr. Mendez is really denying that the work was done. He simply didn't know that the scope of the work completed needed a permit. However, the testimony of Supervisor Keenan and the photographs, I think, were very descriptive in showing the extent of work that was done on the property. And Supervisor Keenan testified that based on those photographs and his review of those photographs, that a permit was required for the work that was done, so that the violations were issued correctly to Mr. Mendez. I think there's further evidence, kind of an admission to the violations when a permit was applied for after the fact in August. And as you heard Supervisor Keenan, that permit has yet to been issued. It's still in the status stage. So we are asking for a city affirm of the violations today.
Okay, thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman,
yes, sir.
Before we vote, could I ask for a brief executive session?
Okay, all righty. And actually, this is 3:11. We will resume at 3:30. We will allow people to take a break at the same time. So we're going to go off the record from record. This is for HA 2023-000522, 3958 North 5th Street. Having heard the testimony and the case put on by both the city and Mr. Mendez's response and prepared to vote, if everyone board could unmute themselves. I will lead the vote with city affirmed with 120-day stay of enforcement.
City affirmed with 120-day stay of enforcement.
City affirmed 120-day stay of enforcement.
City affirmed with 120-day stay of enforcement.
City affirmed 120-day stay of enforcement.
Okay, I believe that's all. Thank you very much, Mr. Mendez. The vote is at—
Apologies, Mr. Chairman. I will now vote, and I will concur with the chairman. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Mr. Mendez, you can unmute yourself, but the decision of the board is that you've lost your appeal, but that we are asking the city not to take any additional enforcement action against you for 120 days. That should give you sufficient time to complete the process of applying for the appropriate permits, and so that you can be in compliance. Understood?
Okay, so I lost, so that means I have to pay the fine?
Yes, the fines are there, but you need to talk to the city. Talk to the inspector you've been talking to, Mr. Keenan, and he can give you additional information.
No, wait, he's telling us. Yeah,
Okay.
I have to talk to Mr. Keenan.
Yes, if you want more information as to the fines and other things, give Mr. Keenan a call. He should be able to answer your questions.
Okay, so
you're going to have to get the permits. That's what it comes down to. You got to
no, I appreciate that. I want to get the permits. Yes. Now, it's my daughter's is worried that it says here that I have to pay a fine. Do I still have to pay the fine?
Yeah, the fines are yes. Yes, you have to pay the fines.
Okay.
Ms. Skiles, unless you have additional information to share, that would be helpful.
So, Mr. Mendez, basically the stay of enforcement, you were given a date to comply on the notice of violation. The board's ruling will toll that date for an additional 120 days. So you don't have to pay a fine right now. If you comply the violations in 120 days, you will not have to pay a fine. Okay. However, after that time, after 120 days, the city can take further enforcement action and collect that fine.
Okay, so right now, let's say tomorrow, I have to go and call Mr. Keenan, or do I go to City Hall?
Call Mr. Keenan first before you go to City Hall. See if you can, if he can tell you what you need, so you can figure out what you need to do.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much, Your Honor. Thank you very much, everyone. And pray to God I solve this problem.
Good luck. Thank you.
You have a nice day. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Okay. All right. Let's move on. Mr. Keenan is excused, I believe, unless he's on your next case.
No, I believe, I do not need Supervisor Keenan for the next case.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right, okay.
The last matter for the day, case number 40, yes. Hearing appeal ending 5095. 1715 through 23 North 56th Street, Malachi Orji.
That's not even me.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
I would like to make sure that you know that I'm back on.
Oh, okay. So noted. Thank you. Okay. Ms. Skiles,
yes.
Do you have a witness for today?
Yes, my Amy Skiles on behalf of the city for this matter. My witness for this case is Inspector Brian Conaway.
Mr. Conaway, you present?
I am.
So raise your right hand so that you may be sworn. Do you swear affirm the testimony you give today be the truth to help you God?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. The appellant, Mr. Malachi Orji. Sir, you were sworn earlier, so you remain under oath. Do you have any witnesses that you will ask to speak on your behalf in today's hearing?
Go ahead. I got him on mute.
No. Well, sir, who are you?
Sorry, board chair. Good afternoon. My name is McDonald Orji. I am the appellant's son.
Okay. Now, if he's going to call you as a witness, he has to say that on the record. He has to say that. Mr. Orji.
Yes, sir.
Do you plan to call your son as a witness on your behalf?
Yes.
Okay. Now, if you do that, you will have to ask him questions and he will need to respond to you. Okay. That's how this works. Just as if you were an attorney asking questions. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Mr. Orji, McDonald, I believe that's your first name, correct?
That is my first. If I may properly introduce myself, I apologize. I'm actually just getting here. My father called me here for this, but I was just stuck in the office. I am a former state investigator with the PLCB, Pennsylvania Liquor Control Board, and the Public Utility Commission. I fully and firmly understand how this process works. I can maybe put up my...
Okay, that won't be necessary for what we're doing today, I don't believe.
Okay.
Let me raise your right hand so that we can swear you in, and then when he calls you as a witness, he may want to describe your background and whatever you would bring to the case, okay? Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you give today be the truth so help you God?
I do.
All right, thank you. You can place your hand down. The way this will work, the city will put his case on first. Mr. Malachi Orji will have an opportunity to cross-examine the city's witnesses. After the city is completed, he will put his case on, and the city, of course, will have an opportunity to re-examine his witnesses as well as himself. Okay, thank you very much. Ms. Skiles?
Yes. Okay, Inspector Conaway, where are you currently employed?
To Philadelphia License Inspection.
And what is your current position with the Department of License and Inspections?
Fire inspector responsible for all existing structures, zoning, property maintenance, fire, zoning licenses.
Okay. And in your work with the department, have you become familiar with the property located at 1715-23 North 56th Street?
I have.
And how have you become familiar with that property?
As a result of a complaint, went out to the property to do an inspection and observed some zoning violations on the property.
Oh, okay. And so before I share my screen, what is the property currently being used for?
Auto repair.
And do they currently have the zoning use registration permit to operate an auto repair shop?
They do not.
Okay. And now with the board's permission, I will share my screen. Okay. And Inspector Conaway, please let me know when you can see what I am sharing on my screen.
I can see it.
Okay. So based on your observation of the property, did you write a notice of violation?
I did.
And is that what has been identified as City Exhibit 1?
It is.
Okay. And what was the date of this notice?
November 30th, 2023.
Okay. And what violations are contained in this notice of violation?
The violation to obtain zoning for auto repair shop and to obtain a certificate of occupancy for current use.
Okay. And so based on the violations issued, did you also issue a notice of intent to cease operations?
I did.
Okay. And what was the date of this notice of intent to cease operations?
The intent to cease is scheduled for 35 days after the written violation.
But the date it was mailed to the owner was November 29th,
2023, yes.
Okay. And what this notice of intent to cease also states what is needed in order to lift the cease or to correct the violation. So what would be needed at this property in order to comply the violations and lift the cease?
They have to obtain zoning for auto repair shop and obtain a certificate of occupancy for the current use. Okay. And the date of that cease operation was scheduled for January 3rd, 2024.
Okay. And so moving on to City Exhibit 3, what's depicted in this photograph?
This is a picture of the front exterior of the property before the advertisement, signage and everything.
Okay. And then your last inspection was January 24th, 2024?
That's correct.
Okay. And what did you observe when you last inspected on January 24th, 2024?
The garage doors were down, but the looked like the business was still open for business.
Okay. And has there been an application for the appropriate use permit?
There was an application submitted, yes.
When was that application submitted?
December 11th, 2023.
Okay. And do you know the status of that application?
It hasn't been issued. They're looking for more information.
Okay. So there was a A request for more information.
That's correct.
And to your knowledge, was more information provided by the appellant on that zoning application?
It has not been.
Okay. And so based on the lack of zoning and the lack of the certificate of occupancy, you issued the violations and the intent to cease.
That's correct.
Okay. And as we sit here today, there's still no zoning that would allow an auto repair shop to operate at this property.
That's correct.
And is there a certificate of occupancy? Has a certificate of occupancy been obtained that would allow this property to be occupied as an auto repair shop?
It has not.
Okay. And why is having the appropriate zoning important and necessary?
You can't operate, you cannot, structure needs to be zoned for exactly what its use is. So you need to be zoned for auto repair or any other use in the city.
Okay.
And license. But before I can actually get a license, you need to be zoned.
Okay. So would this property, is there an auto repair license attached to this property?
I believe there's no.
Okay. And why is it important to have the appropriate certificate of occupancy for a building?
Once again, it states exactly what that parcel is being used for.
So at this time, is there any way to know that this property is being operated safely?
No, it's not.
At this time, is it safe, since there's no certificate of occupancy, is it safe for anyone to be occupying this property?
No, it's not.
And if you could explain for the board why.
Once again, you need to be zoned for exactly whatever parcel is being used for. The zoning may require additional fire protection, things like that there, so therefore it wouldn't be safe.
Okay. So at this point, the department is not even able to really articulate what fire code violations exist at this property due to the lack of zoning.
That's correct.
And because of that, the department would have health and safety concerns for any occupant of this property.
Correct.
Okay. I have no further questions for Inspector Conaway. I would offer for cross.
Okay, Mr. Malachi Orji,
Yes, sir.
You have any questions for Mr. Conaway? Based on his testimony, what would you like to ask him?
Yes, my question is that I have not received any notice of further evidence of whatever that is needed to give me the certificate of zoning. I haven't received any letter. I have applied as requested. I'm only waiting to call me.
Excuse me, Mr. Orji, I'm not sure what the question is you're asking. What are you asking, Mr. Conaway?
Yes. The question is that she said that they are waiting for additional evidence. I have not received any letter asking me to provide additional evidence.
Okay.
Before they give me the
let me ask you. Okay, let Mr. Conaway respond. I don't know if he can or not because he's not the zoning person. But Mr. Conaway, do you have a response at all for that?
Exactly. I'm not the zoning board. Any information that you would need as far as additional documents, you would have to contact zoning.
But Mr. Conaway, let me ask you a question that may be helpful to everybody. If you're looking at the system and it says there's more information required for his permit application, correct?
That's correct.
Processed. Who would they respond to the applicant in writing that they need more information?
Well, I believe if he applied for zoning, then there would probably have to be some plans and stuff that needed to be provided. So it probably that information may have gone to whoever it was that filled out the initial application.
Mr. Orji, did you submit the zoning information or someone else did it for you?
I did it myself.
Okay, and you had not response at all from anyone?
I've never received any response of any nature.
Have you called to check on your application?
Yes, I was there even last week, and I sent them an email to please expedite this zoning because I need it.
And what response did you get?
The guy said that I should email. Hold on one second.
No. I just need you.
He gave me an email to send my email requesting to expedite it.
Okay.
That's what I did.
Okay. Do you have any more questions for Mr. Conaway?
If I may, may I?
No, we can't do that. This is his case. He can call you as a witness later, but at the moment he's cross-examining the other witness. So he has to ask, you can write him a note if you want, but because we can hear everything that's being said. You can't talk to him because we'll hear that. You can write him a note, but he has to ask the question.
No problem.
Mr. Malachi Orji, do you have any further questions?
Yeah, this is the
we can't see that. We can't see that. So what I'm asking you, do you have any further questions for Mr. Conaway?
I applied to reschedule so that to give me time to obtain this.
But that's not a question for Mr. Yes. Conaway. If you don't have any, that's okay. If you don't have any further questions, we can let you present your case in a minute. I just want to make sure that you have a chance to cross-examine the city's witness. So do you have, if you don't have any other questions, we can move on.
I have no other question.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Giles, do you have any other witnesses?
No other witnesses. I would just ask to move the city exhibits into the record, and then I would rest.
Okay, Mr. Conaway, I do have a question for you. What is the current zoning of the address? Do you know?
Are you speaking to Conaway?
Yes.
There are no records on file for that.
There's nothing in the record that shows the current zoning.
Mr. Woodson, it's currently zoned as a CMX2.
CMX2?
Yes,
for
sir.
the whole block?
For that particular property.
Parcel?
I didn't check for the block.
No, but for that parcel, my apologies.
For that parcel, yes, sir.
Okay, all right, thank you. All righty.
I have a question for Ms. Stiles.
Yeah, Ms. Stiles?
Yes.
Ms. Stiles, do your records indicate that there is a zoning application number in the system for this location?
There is. You mean for a current application for a
current
permit?
Application? Yes.
Yes, there is a current application. If you would like, I can read that into the record.
Yes, please.
Thank you.
Yes, it's ZP 2023 013382.
Okay, thank you.
And Mr. Chairman, I have a question for Mr. Orji, if I may ask.
Yes.
Mr. Orji, did you apply for this zoning permit in person or through the Eclipse system?
I applied in person.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Ms. Giles, if you have nothing else, I'll ask Mr. Orji to share his understanding of what's happening and what's going on with that address. So Mr. Malachi Orji, this is your opportunity to put your case on. And at some point, if you want to call your son to be a witness, you may do that. But I'd like you to start with a general statement as to what's going on.
Tell them your thoughts on everything, what you applied.
Yeah, I have already applied for the zoning, and as soon as I get the zoning permit, I will present it. The auto repair was an existing auto repair shop before I bought the property. And when the Elo and I came, they said that the one there already had expired. I should update. And that is why I came to the city hall to update it.
Okay. I would ask you, when did you purchase the property?
About 2 years ago.
Okay. Did you make major improvements to the building?
No major improvement at all.
Okay. All right. Okay. Do you have a witness there sitting next to you? How would you like to have him put information on the record for you?
Good evening, afternoon, board chair. Yeah. Just want to kind of, I guess, state for my father here.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Would his father call him as a witness
Yes, so we need to go through the formal process of your dad calling you as a witness and then asking you questions that you can then elaborate on, okay?
Well, I appreciate that, but as you can see, it is
well, but we don't have very limited. We're trying to do this so it's fair to you and everybody else. Okay, so he's the appellant. He made the appeal. It was his appeal. So if he did the appeal, he has to be able to defend the appeal. Just ask him to put your name on the record as his witness.
You know, with English.
Now listen to me. I ask him to put your name on the record as a witness, and then he can say what he wants you to tell us. He can do that, right?
Sure. What do you want him to say? He doesn't, you know, he doesn't.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman,
yes.
Mr. Orji, please, one moment. If we could allow them at your discretion, sir, just a few minutes, perhaps in a breakout room, or we're actually together, so we could just take a break, so that Mr. McDonald Orji is able to confer with his father, and that they can prepare that, so they're not trying to do this on the fly. I think that might be most helpful to them, if you're able to allow that.
Sure. Let's do this then. There's a request from Board Member Patton that Mr. Orji, Mr. Malachi, and your son, who's your witness, take a few moments and sort of, if you could just help him understand what we need him to do, and we will give you considerable leeway in terms of your response, but we just need him to put you on the record as his witness, okay? And have a sense of which questions he needs you to respond to, and he can give you that in form of a question you can respond and answer.
That will be very tough. I could be very, straightforward. That's going to be very tough. He has a very clear. It's just, has trouble kind of conveying it completely in English.
So you will help him. We want you to help him do that. But what I'm offering you is an opportunity privately, off the record, in a breakout room where you just mute yourself and have a conversation for like the next 2-3 minutes and confer as to what he wants you to say.
Mr. Chair, if I may, Mr. Orji, what the board is asking is if you confer with your father and explain to him that when he comes back on, that I am putting my son as a witness. He just needs to convey that to this board and for the record, and then you can speak, or you can put together your questions. How's that? He can do that, correct?
Fair enough.
Yes. All right, good.
Yeah. So mute yourself, please mute yourself. Have that conversation. I'll give you a couple minutes to do that, and then come back to us when you're ready.
And Mr. Chair, if we give them till 4 o'clock, we could perhaps have a breakout for ourselves, and then I won't need a special meeting afterwards.
Trying to talk to me, but I'm in court on a Zoom. So let's do that. Okay, so 9-5. Malachi Orji. Okay, Mr. Orji, please unmute yourself.
Yes.
Okay. I think what I'd like to do before I think you have a witness. Before we get to your witness, I'd like Mr. Tennant, I think he had a question to follow up with a question that he asked you earlier regarding how you submitted your zoning application. And Mr. Tennant?
Yes, Mr. Orji, I asked you how you submitted your zoning application. You said you went down in person and submitted the application. You included your email on that and probably your name and phone number. But L&I's process in terms of applying for permits, their response is in the Eclipse system, the electronic system. Even if you did paper, their system is looking to respond to you from an electronic Eclipse account that you have associated with yourself and your property. So you will need to establish that Eclipse account, and communication will be done via that Eclipse account. It's probably sitting there with the information and additional items you need. You never received them because it's probably waiting to be processed in an Eclipse account that you have to put together, develop. So your son is there. He can go to phila.gov/LNI, and where it says develop an Eclipse account, Mr. Orji's son, you can develop that Eclipse account for your dad, and then you probably will see that application in there with the revisions or questions that they're asking for. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Orji, now you prepared to put your son on as a witness?
Yes.
Just introduce him by name, please. Call him as a witness.
His name is McDonald Orji.
Okay. Mr. McDonald Orji, you now been called as a witness to represent certain facts in this case. What did you have to offer?
Yes, I thank you very much. I don't have to offer very much. Honestly, I'm not here to influence the case one way or the other, just to help my father kind of convey his ideas a bit more clearly, because as you can see, he's not necessarily a native English speaker. He has submitted a zoning application for that building and certificate of occupancy, and I believe plans as well. Oh, no. Did you? No, okay. So he's seeking currently right now just a continuance so he can get the information or new information that the zoning board or the inspectors are requesting for and from him. That's all.
Okay. Before you leave, though, Ms. Skiles, do you have any cross-examination of Mr. Malachi or witness?
No, I don't.
Okay. Mr. McDonald Orji, does your father have access to professionals to...
Excuse me, Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Mr. Chair, I would just like to ask one question.
Yeah, I'm in the middle of a question. I'll get back to you. I'll let you, just I finish my question. Mr. Orji, McDonald Orji, does your father have access to professionals, architects or others who understand how this works, who can help him submit his applications properly?
Yes. I think he does. He can.
Okay. The information that was shared earlier in terms of creating an Eclipse account, you understand what that's, the information that he needs is probably sitting there waiting for him to respond to.
I can help him sort that.
Yep. So that may be part of the issue, but he will need to have someone who understands this process to help him. Okay. Is anyone, Mr. Washington, you had a question? You're muted, sir.
Yeah. Yes, Mr. Chair, thank you. This real quick. I don't know Mr. Orji, I don't remember Mr. Orji's son name, but I have a question for him.
Yeah, McDonald Orji.
Mr. McDonald Orji, would you confirm that the testimony that your father just gave to the board is true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
I would.
Thank you. No more questions, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Anyone else have anything?
I have a question, if I may. This is for Attorney Skiles or Mr. Conaway. I believe he's still here. I don't see his picture, but I think he's still available to us. I believe the property is zone CMX2.
Yes.
And is an automobile repair shop a permitted use, or would he be likely to require a variance on top of in order to get a use permit?
It's not allowed in a CMX2. This zoning application would get denied and he would have to seek a variance.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. McDonald Orji, what you just heard is you should be expecting to have to go through a zoning appeal process. That's going to be one of your next steps. You understand?
Yes.
Okay.
But he has apparently, I think what we found out, I guess in the testimony, is that plans are required in order to make the proper zoning application. And if no plans were submitted, there's a lot of work that has to be done to go through this process.
That means an architect and or engineer have to prepare the plans.
Of course.
Okay. All right, thank you. Does anyone else have any questions or statements to make? Any final argument, Ms. Skiles?
I do a brief final argument. Yes. I know, once again, on this case, I don't think Mr. Orji denies the existence of the violations. There is no record that there was ever an auto repair shop operating at this property. So he would need to seek that use registration permit and that variance. He is just seeking time today. However, that's where we disagree. The department is just uncomfortable granting that time due to the concerns that Inspector Conaway testified to. Without the appropriate zoning, without the appropriate certificate of occupancy, we don't even know right now what fire code violations or what fire code violations exist at the property, because there's no certificate of occupancy that would state what's required at this property. So it's the department's position that it would be a safety and a hazard to anyone's health to currently occupy this property without that zoning, without the certificate of occupancy, which is why we're asking for a city affirm and to move forward with the cease until the appropriate zoning and the appropriate certificate of occupancy can be obtained.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Orji or your son, McDonald, you have any final comments to make?
Okay. While I can appreciate that, actually, you know, an L&I inspector, according to him, already came out to the property to do an initial inspection of the property, and it's a notice of compliance for fire safety was actually issued on record. It's just that we were advised to also go ahead and apply for the zoning permit and the certificate of occupancy as well, and to have that on record, or, you know, with the city as well. So which he has, or he immediately, you know, went ahead and put in. So the only thing that he just needs to do, if I'm not mistaken, is just he needs to complete it up by submitting the proper information that the L&I or that the zoning requires, which I believe are plans, and that's what he needs more time to put together and have it in place. Notice of compliance for fire safety was issued. It was issued on July 19th, 2023. And he just needs to accompany that with the zoning permit and with the certificate of occupancy and with plans, and that's what he needs time to do.
Okay, Mr. Orji, I'll make this statement before we call the vote here, though, is that's no small feat. No property, business-wise, others should be operating without a CO, certificate of occupancy. Zoning itself is going to be fairly complex, and it will take a bit of time, because you should assume that your application will be denied. You have to ask for a variance because of the way that the building is currently zoned. And also the fact that you want to operate an auto repair shop in that location, which is not currently permitted in that location by zoning ordinance. So this is going to mean you got a lot of work ahead of you. Okay, if there's nothing else from anyone, we'll hold the board. HA-2023-005095. Malachi Orji, 1715-23 North 56th Street. I'm going to vote city affirm with a 120-day stay of enforcement.
City affirmed with 120-day stay of enforcement.
City affirmed with 120-day stay of enforcement.
City affirmed with 120-day stay of enforcement.
City affirmed 120-day stay of enforcement.
City affirm 120-day stay of enforcement.
City affirm 120-day stay of enforcement.
Thank you. Now, what we've just done, Mr. Orji, we have voted your appeal. You lost your appeal. However, we are requiring that the city give you 120 days before any additional enforcement action can occur. It gives you an opportunity to earnestly begin the zoning process. Now, Ms. Scowls, I don't know what impact that will have on the current status of the cease.
Well, we will, of course, work with Mr. Orji, but we will not proceed with the cease for at least 120 days, and then we can assess at that time to see the progress.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Orji, the clock is ticking. You and the professionals that you need to hire need to begin this process today, and so that you can get things done. Otherwise, your business will not be allowed to operate in that building. You're at risk for losing that location. Okay, there's nothing else from anyone?
Mr. Chairman, I just want to make sure Mr. Orji understands, and his son, you made it very clear that this is not just a matter of applying for a zoning permit and getting it issued by the department. This involves something called the zoning variance, and that requires public meetings, further application, and that is not a speedy process. So you've been granted or being granted by this board for almost 4 months to attend to all of this. This process, which is likely to include a zoning variance, could take at least 4 months, maybe even longer. So what's important is that you engage the proper, responsible kind of help to make sure that you get this taken care of as soon as possible. I just wanted to make sure you understood that.
Yes, I do.
Okay, thank you very much. I think that concludes hearing for this matter. Ms. Giles, you're excused for today, as well as your Mr. Conaway. Mr. Wade, is there anything else for us today?
Not at this time.
Okay, thank you, everyone. That concludes our business for today at 4:15. So have a good evening. Enjoy the sunlight.
Thank you, sir. Take care.